2008's Sunday School Musical is a religious teen movie that will have you rocking and rolling, just like the door on the cave Jesus was buried in. True fans of Jesus will know the one. Despite its entirely original concept, haters will say this movie is a Disney Channel ripoff that was rushed to capitalize on the highly anticipated premiere of High School Musical 3, which was scheduled for just a few days later. I'm here to tell you that these two movies could not be more different, starting with the poster design. As you can see, the Sunday school kids are wearing their signature green robes that never appear in the film. So from a color wheel perspective, these two images could not be any more opposite. Also, the title even says this movie takes place at a Sunday school, which is totally different, and a little misleading since it actually takes place at a regular high school. But hey, even our Lord and Savior stretches the truth sometimes. Like when he didn't invite a bunch of us on that boat trip and told us not to worry about a little rain. Luckily, Nicholas never passes up a free cruise, so I stowed away behind a pile of elephant droppings. Speaking of fecal matter, it's time to jump into Sunday School Musical, so we can get lost in its soulless plot, several single parents, and easily some of the worst sound design I've ever heard in a movie. And that includes both regular and snuff films. So say your prayers for a hyper-hymnal installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other content on the web, and we break it apart into stanza by stanza of a musical song, and we look at each individual clip to say, send it up to heaven, or send it to the confession booth to say 13 Hail Marys and dance on some hot coals. Again, I'm not super religious, so sometimes I just say stuff. But anyway, this movie, Sunday School Musical, was highly recommended to me. Particularly, a lot of you tagged me in a TikTok about this movie, so I thought, yup, let's get into it. But before we do, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more faith-based clip breakdowns like this one. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications if you always want to be the first to know when we're singing a song for the church choir. Also, I've got merch available and a Patreon where you can access monthly bonus episodes and virtual watch parties, which have been so much fun lately. We recently watched The Room. Oh, fun. But now it's time to go to Sunday school, which, as I mentioned, is not actually where this movie takes place. It seems like a lot of it's just a regular high school. But let's just jump in anyway and meet our first character, Zachary, with his opening number. Right off the bat, I was like, okay, the music production is not awful. Let's get into it.
I got dreams, I got goals, and real soon they're all gonna be mine. I got dreams, I got goals, real soon they're all gonna be mine.
Well, can we have some examples? Because you've been mentioning your dreams and goals several times now, but you don't even seem particularly motivated to make it down this street in a timely manner. Most musicals begin with some sort of group number that kind of establishes the setting and some of the main characters. I'm not saying they all have to do that, but then you would hope that it would at least establish this character's sort of motivation for the movie, but it doesn't. It just vaguely states that he has a motivation. Throughout the movie, we never really get a true concrete idea of what it is he's looking for. The story just kind of jams us in there like we're Reagan's crucifix from The Exorcist. And the movie is our mutilated genitals. Let's continue. Zachary gets to school just in time. He's like notoriously late. That's his main character attribute. So he gets there just in time for his choir thing.
Hawthorne Community Church Choir, led by Mrs. Angela Howell.
Wow, Zachary's arriving so late to this scene that we actually missed the independent clause of that sentence. There are several scenes that can and should be deleted entirely from this movie, but sure, I guess we don't even have time for full phrases here at the top. When this next part of the movie first happened, it's when I thought I had some sort of weird recording of this movie, but I got it right from Tubi TV, so it must be their actual final mix.
I'm so proud of you all. Just remember, be bold.
Why do I hear the sound of mild clapping, but the audience on screen looks like they're waiting for a hostage negotiator to get them out of there? Maybe the acoustics of that church are so good that you can actually hear applause from the ghost of Jesus and those 12 besties of his. Even the letters on that banner look like they're trying to ascend to heaven to escape what's happening on this terrible looking set. Because now we're about to get into the musical meat of the group numbers of Sunday School Musical. Did no one want to remove that folding table of knickknacks from the stage before shooting began? Maybe straighten out that bookshelf that hasn't been dusted since the first Easter? I get frustrated when it literally looks like the filmmakers walked into a room and said, yup, here's where we're doing it. They clearly had some time to rehearse these dances and stuff, but no one thought to make the stage look anything better than that. Like, even if it were supposed to look painfully low budget, like in a movie way, they could have done it up better. Not just showing me actual everyday garbage that would be in the back of a church somewhere. Anyway, maybe we'll get lost in the song and it'll be fine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Okay, show choir, you better step touch your way into my heart. I did not like the way I said that, but we're gonna leave it. I just sounded like Amanda Bynes in all of her movies. I was sad that we didn't open with a group number, but this is fun. I'm into it. Let's go to the verse.
This little light of mine.
Oh, you're gonna do the chorus again. I'm gonna let it shine. Got it. Now what's next?
This little light of mine.
Okay, I could have sworn this song had more than just those 10 words. And now I feel like your spunky little dance moves are only serving to highlight how repetitive your lyrics are.
Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
I never said it couldn't be. I have no stake in your little light's shininess. Like, mama, look at me. I can barely keep my forehead shine under control. One time Santa Claus saw my T-zone. He said, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Oh! Skincare jokes. Skin type jokes are relatable for everyone because you know what? We all have skin. And it doesn't matter what color it is or how gay it is, we should still powder it frequently. That's my Jesus Christ. My Jesus Christ is face powders. Just ask my Sephora VIB account. So now that Zachary's choir goes, which I can't remember the name of right now, I'll get there. It's time for the competing choir to go. But before they go, there's this confusing point where they're like, we're still waiting on this boys' school who's also going to perform. That's adding noise to this. We just really needed to see this choir go next.
Come thou fount of every blessing. Come thou fount of every blessing. Come thou fount of every blessing. Come thou fount of every blessing.
Ooh, no, kids, you're all flat. You gotta get up here, you gotta hit the note if you wanna keep the gates of heaven open. These young Christians really said, we're just gonna open our mouths and let the Lord choose our tempo and pitch. Love of, font of blessings. Like, okay, but I think the Lord also really likes it when you take some vocal lessons. I read that in the book of Stephen. That girl who got a close-up during the other competing choirs thing, her name is Savannah. She's basically our Gabriella to Zachary's Troy. They perform, get into this sound design, sweetheart. No, I didn't mute that. Some of the scenes in this movie just randomly decide to take an eerie vow of silence. It's like being back at that Franciscan monastery that I confused with a very quiet circuit party. I was like, is the theme brown caftan? This woman with the red mop cuts on stage and she gives us more weirdly recorded info.
I apologize for the disruption. The Bellevue Boys Choir will be unable to make it today due to a food poisoning incident.
That's code for they got caught having same-sex kissing contests on the bus ride over here and got rerouted to conversion therapy. I mean, summer camp. It was at this point that I decided I had to accept that this movie was going to have horrible ADR and poorly dubbed dialogue throughout its entire run. As you can see, it was weird that she walked up silently, like you don't even hear her feet on the ground, and then she gets to the microphone and starts talking. For whatever reason, they had to re-record or do ADR, as we've discussed in past movies, for basically the entire film. Like, they had to get the actors back in and re-record all of the dialogue. But then it seems like they didn't go through and start mixing in the room tone, which would be like, hopefully on set, you record the quiet room just so that you have that to gloss over any editing changes in the sound. But then also you have these like Foley artists go in and add the footsteps back in that you've had to mute out and add the sounds when you pick something up or put it down. Also making sure that the voice that they they do re-record has enough echo to it so that it sounds dirty enough and like it's in the actual space of the movie and not recorded in a sound booth later. They didn't seem to have time or budget to do any of that, so what we hear is what we get. It's a lot. But I thought it was a fascinating example of why you need good like sound design if you're going to do ADR. It takes a lot of work to make it sound natural. Like listen to the kids when they're all supposed to be a crowd of people talking.
Congratulations!
Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened.
Not the little whisper sisters celebrating like church meese. They said,
Oh, I can't believe this happened.
what, that this movie got funded? Me either, sis. Run that back to Cinderella. So basically, this boys club got expelled or they couldn't make the competition. So by default, that terrible choir also gets in alongside the One Directions, I think they're called. That can't be it. Something Direction. New Directions? That can't be it either. That's Glee. Something real similar. Either way, both choirs are now competing against each other. Even though I can tell right off the bat, this was just a change they made to like prevent having to have a third choir appear at the beginning of this. They could have figured out some way to write that out that wasn't so painfully obvious. Like they could have divided some of those extras up to be the third choir and just had it look like they had just finished singing and were going off stage before our main choir got on stage. That's what I would have done, but Lord knows I don't know what's going on anyway, so. Am I allowed to do that if I'm not religious? Well, I mean, I'm doing it. If I'm not, then I'm gonna do it backwards and sideways too. The kids are all upset that on the like more talented choir that they're gonna be against these losers, basically. So even though this takes place in a church, the kids have pretty bad attitude. Okay, so I've got the names. Zachary's choir, which is more talented that we saw at the beginning, they're from the Crossroads choir. And then the school that wasn't very good, they're from Hawthorne's church school. So here we see that the kids from Crossroads are unhappy that Hawthorne is now in the finals, even though they weren't that good.
All the hard work and those clowns slide through the states.
Don't get distracted. States is in 1 month, you still have work to do.
Ah, there's some of that original practical audio. I can see why they got rid of it. It comes complete with a high-pitched, brain-melting dog whistle. Somebody messed up on recording that, clearly. They might just have been able to not hear people well enough, like they didn't have enough microphone coverage. The thing about filmmaking is people can tend to forgive like a grainy image or a dark image more than they can forgive bad audio. If the audio is rough, people are gonna have a hard time watching it or understanding what's going on. If you think about it, like entertainment started on the radio, you know, just radio broadcasts where if it wasn't good audio, then you weren't telling the story. So although film is a visual medium, if it's a sound film, then the sound has to be up to a certain level of quality or people are gonna not like it. So by re-recording this audio, they made it presentable, but the ADR job is just super distracting. You'll notice that the Crossroads choir has more diverse kids and it seems to be a more Black and Latin group of people as opposed to the Hawthorne school, which is mostly white kids. There's a lot that this movie could be saying about race and sort of privilege, but it misses the boat so much that it's almost passively racist. Zach is talking with his friends Andrea, the other guy's name is Trevor, and they're great at freestyling. Well, Zachary's really good at freestyling.
See me in the middle of the street, you would think I was a manhole.
So it's clear that Zach is like the star of his whole choir. And then we meet his family.
Please bring Dad back home soon and safely. Only 2 more weeks until Dad's back, right?
Yes.
And on that joyous day, we'll gather around and celebrate over one of my freshly rinsed bowls of lettuce. The director said, we want this meal to feel extra depressing, so we're actually gonna turn off a few of these lights. We were almost getting a bit of a hopeful glint in the little kid's eyes, and it was clashing with our dehydrated urine wall color. I hate that they didn't even make the frame line even, like, you have a horizontal line running through the back wall of your set, like, you should use that to make sure your camera's level, but what do I know? This is where we get our inciting incident. Zachary's mom says that she's been laid off from her hospital job. Remember, this is 2008 at the height of the recession when that kind of thing might have been more common. And although at first the family is like, it's okay, we're gonna make it through this, then she's like, well, we can't afford to live here anymore, so we're gonna go stay with our Aunt Janie. And that means you're gonna be moving to Hawthorne School. And obviously this is a huge upset to Zachary here, who seems like his whole life was basically being a part of the Crossroads show choir. This is where I start to get confused because that Crossroads choir is clearly not affiliated with any sort of school. It's just a community church, and it doesn't seem like they're moving that far away. So I'm not sure why he's like, I have to leave my choir now. It's like, not necessarily, just take a deep breath, let's figure this out. But he said, no, I'm going up to my special place on the roof. hope you got a lot of catharsis out of kicking those 2 support beams, because that's the closest thing to therapy your insurance covers. If you're gonna be expressing your angst through choreography a la Footloose, I would say don't do it on a rooftop, especially if you're improvising the steps. You're gonna do the worm right off that ledge one day if you keep spazzing out faster than your guardian angel can fly. Also, although we just cut to black, the scene is somehow not actually over, because then we fade back in and it picks up right where we left off just a short time later. Andrea comes down and she's like trying to get the news on why he's upset. He's like, my mom lost her job, so we have to move. And Andrea's reaction is very strange.
I want to feel for you, but you can't just leave like this.
Leave like what? With his family in poverty? I don't think he wants that either. You missed his little angry dance out here earlier on. It really did a good job at conveying how this is not something he wants to do. Then we go into this little duet with Andrea and Zachary. I really like their voices together. I love Andrea's voice in general throughout this. Played by Crystal Connor. By the way, Zachary is played by Chris Chapman. I still don't know what they're arguing about, really.
You're not gonna turn this around on me when you're the one skipping town right before we finally get the chance to go to States.
Zach is like, girl, my little brother is underweight and I'm malnourished from eating just spaghetti every night. And you're talking about going to regionals like it's a literal episode of Glee. There's nothing he can do.
If you didn't wanna leave, then you would try to stay.
Great vocals. Now sing about what exactly you think Zach should do to create more local job opportunities for his mother. Run for Senate? I wish that Zachary had like some reason to keep his quitting secret from Andrea. Like if he was like, I just gotta stay home to help my brother more. But really it was like, oh, the mom was going to have to go to a new job because the dad was not coming home for a while and he didn't want his friends to know that they were having trouble with money or something like that. You know, then she could be like not as understanding, or maybe if she blew up at him before he had a chance to say it's because my mom got fired, and then there could be this reveal later where she realizes like, oh, I jumped to conclusions way too fast and we have to help him or whatever. But instead it just seems like she's getting mad at something that's not his fault. In the next scene, Zach goes to his first day at Hawthorne Church School, which is basically a post-apocalyptic ghost town from the looks of it. They could not afford to get any single extras out on this exterior on the days they were shooting. I would maybe just avoid doing 12 establishing shots if you're gonna make the school look like it's in a nuclear winter. Zach goes to his home ec class where he happens to be paired up with Savannah, the girl that he saw as his competition at the show choir. The whole home ec scene is so awkward. It's like they're sitting down the whole time. They're like cracking eggs and stirring, but there's no sound the whole time. So I was just like, oh, it's so painful to watch. And nothing happens.
Tap it. And it opens.
So finally, Zach goes to his next class where there's this other guy, Miles, who's sort of the nerdy goody two-shoes from this choir.
What on GGE are you doing in my Bible study class?
GG what?
It's God's green earth.
I don't know what kind of pictures are in your Christian textbooks, but the earth is definitely more blue than it is green. And what's so good about Earth anyway? I want a planet with moon gravity so that I can finally win at a game of kickball. Also, no offense to Earth, but you've been really, like, warm lately. You should serve frozen blended drinks if you're gonna get this hot in the summer. That's all I'm saying. At Club Earth. If you didn't wanna leave, then you would try to stay. Oh, pray to the Lord about staying at the church school. I could have been in this movie if I was 10 years younger. Wow. There's this scene where Zachary is talking to his Aunt Janie that literally adds nothing. I think they just had to add this Aunt Janie character in. But Zach is like, oh, I like home ec, but I hate school otherwise. And this is where I realized, wait, didn't he say he had dreams and goals? Like that was the whole point of the first song. I mean, it seemed like he was just happy to be in show choir, but then when it got taken away, he didn't really have any dream or goal that was being fought against. He was like, but I love doing show choir. It's like, okay, but what was your dream and goal with it? You know, then I would know his motivation. Like, I'm trying to sing my way out. Like, if I can get a record deal, like, is there a famous church singer that he looks up to? What is his dream? Does he want to get something for his family out of this? Like, why does he see singing as his dream and goal? I've never got any inkling of that. And I need it to care about anything that's happening to him. Especially this, because then the mom comes out and she's like, oh my God, my husband's tour. He's in the military. I don't know if I mentioned that. 2008 was a different time. It was like the country was at war. I think it still is, but what I mean? Like, it seemed more like it mattered at the time. It seemed like it was a more active war at the time. Now it's just a more like, oh yeah, we're still doing that, but you know, it's a side gig. I don't know how it works. So yeah, the husband is now not coming home for 10 hours, 10 months, 6 more months. This little light of mine, I'll soak it in some brine. This little light of mine, oh babe, I'm feeling fine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, oh let it shine, oh let it shine. Did you know I could sing like a swing dancer? Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, baby. Hey. Ooh, that was too bass notey. That made the floors rattle a little bit. Okay, Zachary sings a song. Does he? No, he just walks musically to the roof and looks at the sky. The woman who runs the Crossroads church choir is on the phone being like, $10,000 or we're gonna lose the church. Oh my goodness. So that's like a very long expositional phone call where we're like, okay, the church is out of money. And Andrea comes up and she's like, I'm taking over for the church choir since Zachary left. I guess he was the leader, even though they never explicitly said that. It would have been cool if they could have built in this thing about how Zach's always late. Like when he showed up late, if Andrea was like, you're the leader of this choir, you're supposed to be on time. And he's like, sorry, I was trying to help my little brother get his shoes on. Or whatever. Like give me some texture into why Zachary's life is hard. It basically doesn't show us that at all, and it would be nice. Like they spend all this time focusing on Savannah's home life because she's at home working on her homework and the dad comes in. The dad is a preacher and he's like, so are you getting overwhelmed by all this stuff in your busy life, busy girl?
If you ever get overwhelmed, you can do what your mother used to do. She would simply put a piece of bubble gum in her mouth and she would blow a big bubble. And she would picture all those worries and all that stress in that bubble. And when it popped, they were gone.
Wow, that's very practical advice, Dad. Tell me, what would have Mom's advice been for helping me pass the SATs? Wave a f***ing pinwheel? Poor Savannah's trying to study so she can get into college, and Pastor Dad comes into the room is like, well, your mother loved original flavor Hubba Bubba. Have you tried that now? Like, thanks, Dad, but I think you could just focus on writing your little sermons for the church, because those don't make much more sense either. I would never use like a church leader in place of a therapist, because everything I've ever heard from a priest, they're like, so sometimes people are dying of starvation. Here's a story about when I was a boy and my mother told me not to steal from the cookie jar. And I'm like, okay, thanks. Also, I don't know if I'm using the right terms for all of the, like, I grew up Catholic, but I don't know if that's the same as Christian where I was from. I mean, it must not be. But we had like deacons, priests, pastors, altar boys. Those were all the types of things. But then there's also like ministers. I guess that's it. We can see from the next time that they're in home ec that Savannah and Zachary are getting along a little bit better, and she asks him, she's like, would you be interested in joining our choir? Like, we could really use your help. And he's like, no thanks, no thanks. This is where we start really borrowing directly from the plot of High School Musical 1. Get a load of Miles, that nerdy character with the God's green earth thing.
The Last Supper was painted by the brilliant Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you because you're using an embarrassing accent for something that won't even matter to the plot. If I was his teacher, not only would I give him a failing grade for that, but I would also make it my personal mission to have him expelled. I'd be like, this school doesn't even have security cameras. I'll plant a gun in your cubby. I don't care. Just seems like the kind of school that would have cubbies, doesn't it? Anyway, let's move on. The art direction for this movie bummed me out. Like, that poster was made by my 3rd grade cousin. I don't have a 3rd grade cousin. Oh. It's time for Zach to do his report.
Zachary, why don't you present next?
I don't have mine.
You didn't do the assignment?
No.
Again, for a kid who was repeatedly screaming about his goals and plans, you seem highly unmotivated, Zachary, I gotta say. He's like, well, my dream was to fail history and my goal was to go to summer school, so I'm actually right on track, asshole. The thing is, Zachary's not even in any choir right now. And that poster that Miles made looks like he spent legit 13 minutes on it, so I'm not sure what your excuse is for being lazy. You better be battling depression or something. It makes it really hard to feel for the character when I don't know why he's a bad student. Like, I get that some people are just not good at school, and I remember kids being like, I didn't do it, and the teacher would be like, why not? And they'd be like, I just didn't. But it would mean a lot more to me if I knew that it was because of something troubling going on in his home life. Like, is he really busy because he has to take care of his little brother because his dad's not home and his mom's working in a new job? It doesn't matter. He gets detention for not doing the assignment, which he has to spend doing a cleanup in the choir room. So basically exactly how Troy got sent to detention in the drama club. And this this is where I really start to dislike Zachary. Savannah is like, do you want to join us? Because you're scoffing over there while you clean the whiteboard. You're laughing at how bad we sound, so maybe you want to join us. And he's like, no, you guys would need a miracle. And it's like, okay, you then, Zachary. And then he goes off into the bathroom and does this. Do you mind washing your hands real quick if you're done doing gymnastics all over those urine splattered stalls? Is this very raw talent the reason why he can't study after school? Look, you don't have to tell me how tempting it is to spend all day turning tricks in the men's room, but that won't color in the posters you need to get a high school diploma, kid. We quickly go over to see the Crossroads Choir under the direction of Andrea, and although Trevor's like, maybe we can ask Zach for help trying to make this song work, she's like, he's not here. We killed him mentally. Remember, when his mom got a new job, he jumped out the window to us. Like, okay, scorched earth over here. Even though it took, you know, the prerequisite 3 times of asking, Zach finally warms up to the idea of joining the crew. The music lures him in, let's say. So he starts being like, look, you play the piano, you play harmonica, you're great at dance, like you need to bring all of those special things together. Those are what make your choir unique. And that's when I was like, okay, yeah, that's a solid plot point. Like each person has this skill that they're not bringing to these kind of dry looking performances. So he gets them all to sing and dance, only it's kind of just him singing.
Oz, please play them keys. Come on, Margaret, don't be afraid to step out of your shell. And Savannah, let me hear you sing.
Actually, it's fine just seeing you over there. No singing necessary. I love how he finally coaxes the shy girl Margaret out of her shell, and the first move she pulls is stick tornado. Like, great, the choir is saved now. Margaret's doing her thing. Twister. I wanna get with ya and do that twister, cause Margaret's sister is coming with ya. What if I just punched myself in the head and fainted for the rest of the video? Would you still watch and let the ads play if it was a blank screen of this? You have to. That's what you signed up for when you joined the DiRamio Club. So after this song, the choir is like, wow, we might actually have a chance here with your help, Miles. Nope, Zachary. The names. Always with the names.
You had a little something there, right?
I know, we actually sounded okay.
We sounded okay? Honey, I sat through that entire performance, and the only time anyone other than Zachary opened their mouth was when they were trying to gasp for air while dancing. But sure, I guess that's what they needed to become magically talented. They believed in themselves the right way, and it made their vocal control better. In the next scene, Zachary goes back and visits Andrea and Trevor, and this is where I'm like, so he didn't even move far enough away that he couldn't visit them after school? Like, then he should be able to be in this choir, because their choir is not even school affiliated. Like, he can do both, or he could have just never left. The artificial conflict is just like so staggering. It's like, then what was the point of this movie? If you didn't have a real conflict for these people to overcome, then like, what was the point of this movie? Literally, like, you weren't trying to tell any heavenly, biblical, faith-based message about forgiveness or whatever, because then it would have come up faster. That's what tells me that this movie was basically just made to turn a profit and capitalize off the High School Musical franchise in a way that, you know, faith-based people or those who are really conservative and want to watch only Christian movies would pay for. So it's just a way of trying to profit off of your religion, which I think is lame. I think it's lame. Jesus himself would be like, that's not how you pay the piggy bank. I swear I read the Bible in college. I swear I did, but it wasn't illustrated, so I have a hard time remembering. My favorite part is when that lady looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. I'm gonna reenact that. I'm running away from the city of Sodom, and then I'm like, oh, we gotta get out of here, hubby. Wait, I just wanna see one last time. And then I'm salt. I'm a salt. Pretend I'm salt. Lick me, I'm salty. Put me on a pretzel. Ooh, Auntie Annie. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, Zachary visits his old friends, and they hate him now.
Well, you make me sound like some kind of traitor.
You said it, I didn't.
Why do I want to give an Academy Award to that backpack just for making the appropriate amount of sound when someone touches it? This is the first scene in the movie that uses the actual practical audio, and it really demonstrates how much of a difference that natural sounding room tone makes so that it's helping your movie not feel like it was set in purgatory. As you just heard, Andrea and Trevor are basically like, you're helping the Hawthorne Academy kids now, so you are basically sleeping with the enemy. They're mad about it. Although I don't think it's very religious to say sleeping with the enemy, because as a Christian, I don't sleep with anybody but my husband, whose name is Body Pillow. And he fucks me so good with those down feathers, you don't even know. I get splinters in my rectum. Why, Nicholas? Why, Nicholas? Just stick to the script, Nicholas. Out at like the study hall, Miles is really touchy with Savannah about basically Zachary coming in and giving any sort of creative direction. He's like, this is not his choir. We shouldn't even be like having him without a vote. We should all agree on it. And Savannah's like, he's gonna help us. So they go into this whole, if anything you can do, I can do better type song, which I normally love those in a musical, but no, not this time.
You're not the boss of me. Take me for what I am.
Who I was meant to be. See, why do I just instantly start thinking of better songs when I'm watching this? Anyway, Zachary's teacher tells him, listen, you suck at going to school and doing this stupid, easy project. So if you don't get a B on this next test, you're gonna be out of the choir. We've seen this trope before, like the person has to get a passing grade in order to be in the final jam or whatever. But I don't know why the teacher is like, you won't be able to do choir. Like it feels like it's just being painted on the screen for us instead of being like, that'll mean no extracurricular activities. And then he could be like, but the choir practice thing. And she'd be like, sorry, do your homework. So anyway, that's our new conflict. But don't forget that Savannah's mom is dead. Have we told you that yet? No, we haven't. So let's go ahead and cram that in here now. Literally, the dead mom thing hits you like a linebacker. I don't know if that, does a linebacker tackle you? Maybe they just hold you in their big arms. The dad is like, remember your mom being dead? Blah, 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 you get it.
Sometimes we don't understand why God gives us the challenges that he does. And he has a plan for me.
I don't believe that.
You are angry right now?
Dad, I'm your daughter. Stop preaching to me.
Savannah, stop it.
Dad, get out of my room.
Savannah!
Dad, get out of my room.
You better be careful, Savannah. I think the Bible says men are allowed to kill their daughters every once in a while. He said, listen, you can cry about your dead mom all you want, but only if you agree with me and God that it's what was best for us. Like, maybe we could approach it differently. Let her get through that trauma a little bit more, but whatever. I guess that's what you get from a preacher with all of their 0 hours of mental health training, but good thing that they are giving people marital advice. That's fun. Savannah's 2000s hair is so amazing in this. It's like, I'm gonna straighten it until it's crispy, and then I'm gonna take my super straight bangs and origami fold them into a paper tube on my forehead. Like, we are really out here doing that. Savannah is running a study group and she's trying to help Miles learn to care about school a little more. I think this would have been a good point for them to get to the basis of why he's struggling so much in school. Like if he was like, I actually have a hard time understanding numbers, or if things get mixed up for me, and she's like, maybe you should see someone. And like then we find like there's some sort of learning difference in his way that's keeping him from focusing. Then it would be like, oh, inclusivity, telling his story, finding help, friends supporting one another. Ooh. Ooh. But anyway, we just get more of the Savannah and Zachary becoming more endeared to one another.
You're the pastor's daughter, that you're top of the class, you're in every club. I mean, what's the worst that could have happened?
Actually, my mom died a few months ago.
Wow, what happened? Did your terrible singing piss off God? I think he heard her butchering all those church songs and said, this is a warning to keep my name out of your mouth. Lightning strike. And the mom was like, ah! Why do I not? What if I just held all three of my beverages like a baby and I said, rockabye and good night, go to sleep little. Yes, be liquids in the night. One day you'll be gases that evaporate. Okay, so next up on the scene, does anyone mind if I hold my babies while I lecture? Sorry, I couldn't get a sitter. The next scene, oh no, this is bad. The woman who kind of runs the Crossroads Academy, she lets them know like, so I owe $10,000 because I'm a gambler. She didn't really say that, but they owe $10,000 because clearly they're in an underserved community and the church is closing basically. We're not gonna be able to do any of this. There's no church anymore.
There must be something we could do.
What if we win the prize money at States? That would help pull us through, but we don't have money to send you to States.
This was our opportunity to prove that we could do something. Don't you see that?
I think you're once again feeling victimized by the wrong person. This lady has to sign up for unemployment benefits and skim from the collection basket to survive. But Andrea's over here like, you will regret the day that you crossed me. For I have an army of God compelling me to do jazz squares in this nursing home, and we will not be stopped. I also think this would be a really great point to lean into about the messaging about the social inequality of it. Like, why does this church have really talented kids and I guess a community that it serves, but like, why is there not enough money there to keep the church open? How do churches even get money? Don't they have tax like exemptions? There could be something there about like, they need more money, they're underprivileged, like tease that to the surface more. The fact that they don't and the solution that they end up coming up with is actually a little tacky. But anyway, let's go over to Zachary, who I guess has been studying with Savannah even more than just in that 2-minute scene that we saw. And he's taking his final quiz to see if he can be in this final jam.
Hey.
Hey, how'd the test go?
Looks like it was stressful. He had to change his shirt in the middle of it due to excessive sweating. I've been there. But don't worry, because one day, when someone's pet cat gets caught behind the oven, you'll be the only one wet and slippery enough to get back there and save it. That will truly be our day. Our sweaty day. Somehow he knows right away that he passed, so that's great. And then all of a sudden he's wearing the blue shirt again. Oh, and Andrea approaches and she's like, so these are the people that you're jumping team with. The church with more money, with more resources, with more talent. Like, she really goes in, she's like, you're basically ditching us for people with more money. And he's like, it's not like that. This is really like, I think the most authentic moment of the movie. Like, this is the most potent scene of Andrea being like, here's the inequality of it all, and I'm holding this white girl accountable, and she just kind of clams up and can't really say anything. I think we could have had more of that throughout, like that kind of tension, where Savannah actually feels guilty because like, we have more and we're not even able to meet their talent level, and then not knowing what to do with that guilt and what would my mother do. Like, all of that could be brought to the surface, but we just have a whole bunch of nothing. It's vacuous, empty scenes in between songs. The closest we get is while Savannah is in church listening to her dad's sermon and watching that collection basket go around. She's like, you're right, I am going to be the white savior. So she passes around a note being like, we should let the Crossroads Academy join us. And then Zachary and the Hawthorne School gets up and they perform for the first time since Zachary joined them, and we see how far they've come. What are you looking around at, Savannah? She's like, is everyone on stage being boring? Yep, okay, perfect. Nosferatu Domino! That blonde girl on the right is like, I'm just gonna go ahead and use this banister for support. I'm not really feeling this performance. Girl, you better stand up and act like you're into it if you want to prove to your parents that you didn't mean to visit those sapphic poetry websites that were in your search history. So the Hawthorne kids extend the olive branch to Crossroads and say, we would like you to perform with us. It's not fair that you don't get to just because you don't have the money to go to States. And I'm just gonna say it right now, I don't see why they need money to go to States. It seems like they just have to show up at a very poorly attended church event and sing. Not like there's any production to it or a bus they need to even get on, but whatever. After several minutes of pointless complaining from Andrea being like, we don't need your charity, the other kids are like, we really just wanna be able to sing, like, let's do it. So they have their first performance together and it's not going well. They're clashing. Miles is playing the piano too loud. Andrea is singing too loud to make up for the girl who's not singing and being shy. Like, it's the personalities just aren't working out. But Miles works his magic. Like, it's so generic that I don't even need to explain it. It's not like anything interesting happened. They're just looking for reasons to get to like kind of one song to another. Now it's the big, we all made up and we're all working together song. It seems like maybe 3 out of the 12 kids on screen bothered to learn the lyrics that they were supposed to be lip syncing, but 100% of them brought those funky Carlton dance moves. I do like the song, it's catchy. The original songs, they work. They're not bad. They feel choiry. They have a little bit of a difference from the sound of pop that High School Musical had, but the script, the production, it's just so wrong. Let's see, Zach's mom is proud of him. He's teaching his brother how to dance, and then they go to the States competition. This is the big final jam, everybody.
Oh, no.
What?
Church of the Gospel Youth Choir. They've won the past 3 years.
Well, if they're as good at singing as they are at marching, then you better pack up your rosary beads right now. Why are they entering this church competition like they're the North Korean army? They must really mean business. They said, you better get ready to gag on our psalm songs. Psalm songs. Psalm song busted. Psalm song. I got a psalm song. I got a psalm song. Let's hear this group of talented singers. I don't know if they're like a real church group that they cast or what the case is. It's hard not to notice obvious that this is clearly an all-black church choir. I don't know why they chose to make it like the all-white Hawthorne school against the Afro-Latino sort of Crossroads school now versus the all-black this school. Like, what exactly are we saying here? Who's the good guys and what?
If you're feeling blue, shadows over you. You know what to do. Praise, 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 praise.
This is definitely my favorite song and performance in the whole movie. Although it kind of bothers me that this entire group could not agree on a single shade of khaki. Although that says nothing of their talent, it just says that the production did not give them costume pieces to wear. They were like, everyone wear khakis. And everyone just showed up with what they had. That's not how you make a movie. Get a stylist in here and get the sizes of people and rent some pants. Rent some pants. Do you think there's no services on Earth where you can rent different sizes of choir outfits? Put them in those robes that we see on the movie poster that never made it into this. Then everyone can look cohesive and they'll look like, oh, they know what they're doing because we're just wearing our street clothes, but they have these church robes and it's very Sister Act 2. No one's trying on this movie. No one's trying on this movie. The only thing they're trying on this movie is to make money. And I really feel like they were trying to get this movie out before High School Musical 3 went into theaters. So that's why the sound design is so messed up. Either way, this kid from the choir, the rival choir, goes up and starts pointing to the Hawthorne New Direction crew and is tattling on them. Meanwhile, Savannah's getting all stressed out about this, you know, pressure of the whole choir performing and what rests on this, even though there's really nothing at stake. Like, oh yeah, they want to win the money so that Crossroads will get the $10,000 prize that will help get the church through this financial struggle. So Savannah goes outside and she's like, I gotta clear my mind. What is it that my mom did again? That stupid thing. Oh, right.
Make this bubble take away my trouble.
That was a cyanide capsule because she refuses to lose this competition. She's like, cool, that actually didn't help at all. Thanks, Mom. I guess I thought your death would be meaningful, but not yet, apparently. Zachary presents Savannah with the fortune cookies that they were making in home ec. First of all, it took them like 3 weeks to make one batch of fortune cookies. It doesn't tie everything together as much as I think they thought it would. I feel like some screenwriters feel like, oh, the formula is like, as long as they have them mention something at the beginning, middle, and end, it's like a through line. It's like, it doesn't feel like it's meaningful. It just feels like bookmarks. So they're all getting ready to go on stage, and then the guy from the choir comes up and is like, it's come to our attention that you combine 2 choirs, and that's not fair, so you guys can't go on stage, sorry. So they're all like, what is going on? And there's a little bit of infighting. They're like, Margaret, you said you checked the rule book and said it was allowed, which she did say that she did, so it's a little confusing why all of a sudden they were able to be tattled on. I would have loved it if like the choir person could have been like, oh, well, you actually misread. According to this amendment that happened in the 2007 show choir competition, like, we didn't get any of that. It just like mysteriously is a problem now. But Margaret's like, I think we have an argument.
We understand your concern about fairness. Quote Zechariah 7:9. Administer true justice. Show mercy and compassion.
Margaret, no one cares what your online boyfriend Zechariah 79 says when he's trying to convince you to send nudes. This is another actress that you can tell had braces at one point because her braces are kind of invisibly there forever now. Why is that sometimes? So the guy is swooned by this Bible quote, of course, because they're in the house of God. And he's like, all right, you guys can perform, although you won't be eligible for the prize or for the title because that would be unfair to the other choirs. And they're like, we just want to perform, so it's fine. Even though, I mean, that kind of undercuts the original stakes of it, which were like, now we gotta win this money so that we can save the church. It's like, okay, I guess it doesn't matter so much to them anymore. They just want to sing. You can see why the stakes don't matter here, right? Like, you really don't know what's gonna happen if they win. Like, nothing really changes. His dad's still gone for 6 months. The church is still closed. He's still moved. Whatever. Nothing changes. But we get to hear them sing their final song.
My portion.
Yay, Dad is home, and he looks injured. What happened to his 6-month tour extension? He's like, good news, son. I was dishonorably discharged for kicking someone to death. They tried their best with this group number. Gotta say, the choreography does not suck you in the same way Kenny Ortega's did in the High School Musical franchise, but, you know, let's see. Is happiness also the reason you're up there doing the hustle in front of the altar? Anyway, it's time to start winding down all these festivities because we got an open casket funeral that's coming in to set up in 20 minutes. While they tried their best with the choreography, what I hate is that they didn't bother to remove these church pews for their wide shots. Like if you got all of those benches from the audience out of the way, you could have put a dolly in there or gotten a huge wide shot where you show the whole group of kids on stage. Instead, they kind of stay really close to the kids and we never see all of them at once. And that's really where we would be like, they're all together, the group is together, all these shades of blue and white. That's the other thing, is like they seem to mix original music and classic church songs all together. And I would think that they would save the original music for like the final number, but this feels very generic to me. Anyway, they perform, and then the guy who actually gave them in from the rival choir, they win. That red shirt choir wins, and they get on stage and they're like, you know what? We made a mistake. In the feeling of goodness, we're giving this prize and the trophy to the New Directions Hawthorne Academy Choir. So he redeems himself and he's like, sorry about that, man. Sorry for telling on you. So I mean, I'm just like a little lost here. It's like, so they really weren't the best choir, or did they just not win because they were ineligible? Because they weren't that good. With these types of movies, I can never see enough of a difference between when the choir is performing poorly, mediocrely, or when the competition is like way outshining them, because the costumes and the production all feel remarkably similar. But anyway, Hawthorne's Crossroad gets right up there. They're like, yes, we will take that prize that we rightfully earned, and everyone's happy. No, that kiss just said, I love you too, Nana. Drier than the Sahara. Whew, and that's all she wrote for Sunday School Musical, the ripoff of High School Musical that we love to hate. What did you guys think of this? Did you love the music? Did you love the sound design? Let me know all of your thoughts and comments in the opinion section below. Also, give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see more clip breakdowns just like this. It's a great free way to support my channel. Also, don't forget to click that subscribe button if you're new here. That way you can join the DiRamio Club. I upload 2 new videos every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be the first to know when I'm singing because I'm happy with a new video for you. Also, I've got merch available and a Patreon where you can access exclusive monthly episodes and virtual watch parties and other benefits. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you so much for singing in the rain with me today and going to heaven. I will see you next time.